Good evening everybody. Welcome to What's Up vlog number 111. Now, the plan was, as anybody that watched the very informative vlog 110 will know, the plan was to do 111 kilometers today on the 1st of the 11th, which only works in, well actually it works in most of the world and not America, because it would be the 11, it would be 11-1 in your date, wouldn't it, rather than 111. But I thought I'd have finished my work really early today. I'm very time restricted for a number of reasons, and having dragged a job out for hours longer than it should have done because of a very indecisive client, I'm not going to have time to do 111 kilometres. But I'm going to jump on, just ride and see what happens, see if I bump into anyone. There's quite a few known faces on there at the moment, including Luke Rowe, Kev Stephen, Monica Schlang, Casey Shum, Dirk Gatsby, Nathan Guerra's on there. If I bump into any of those guys, great. If not, my plan is really just to do some laps of the jungle loop and try and have a proper look round. But the main plan is that for the next 11 days, because I haven't got another big project starting for a little while now, so I've got a little bit of, I say free time, but freer time. Next 11 days, I'm going to complete 1,111 kilometres. That's the idea. That will include the distances for like the 2-for-1 ride tomorrow morning, the Wetopia race on Saturday, which I'll confirm the details of. Actually, the reason I hadn't before, and the reason I usually have to leave it so late, is because quite often the guys at Zwift have to sort of confirm that that slot's available, or that route or that course is available at that point in time, which is why I hadn't confirmed what Wetopia is. And in actual fact, as it turns out, I can't do the route that I had originally hoped to do. So Wetopia at 9:10 UK time on Saturday is going to be 3 laps of the Wetopia flat course in reverse. The bonus will be for the reverse sprint, so it's well, for me that's about 12-second effort to try and pick up those bonus points. So for most of you guys, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 seconds of effort to try and grab the bonus point, bonus points. So yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, sorry about yesterday's sort of impromptu vlog number 110, but that was the only way I could get the numbers to work. And I desperately wanted 111 to be on the 1st of the 11th. So anyway, here we are. Right, I'm going to just ride at the moment. I'm not going to ride with anybody in particular at the moment. I'm just going to jump on and ride, and this will take me out to the jungle. So I'm going to quickly set my screen recording up, and there's heat coming off this radio, so I've just turned it off, but that is warm. Set my screen recording up, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Alright, so how cool is this? Look, I'm only, actually, how far am I? I'm only 5 kilometres into this 11-day long challenge, and already I've got John Grasso jumping along for the ride. Great to see you, John, thank you very much. And I saw Rickard as well. He's doing a workout, so his pace is going to sort of fluctuate, so I don't think he'll be able to sort of stay within this group. But there you can just see him in the background there on the screen with the sunglasses and the green and black jersey on. And got loads of messages from people saying they're going to try and sort of jump in when they can. That'd be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. But it was just a kind of on a whim idea, as so many of mine are, it seems. I wanted to do something for the 111th vlog, and being that I didn't have time to do what my original challenge was, I figured I'd use that as a reason to push myself into a more significant one. So if you don't hear from me for the next 11 days, it's because I'm crying in a dark corner somewhere, preparing myself for my next 101 kilometre ride for that day. I won't be doing 101 tonight, by the way. Obviously the reason I can't do the 111 is because of time, so I literally have got maybe an hour, maybe a bit longer, but not much more available time tonight. So just going to rack up whatever I can, see how we go. It's really hot in here because that radiator's been on all day, and it's just muggy, no breeze, no air circulation. I've got my fan full whack. It's still hot. Yeah, so the Wetopia race was going to be exactly what I'm doing now. I planned on doing the jungle circuit, which from the start pen I think would mean about a 7 kilometre ride here up the sort of foothills of the mountain, and then you hit the circuit, and I can't remember exactly how long the actual circuit is, but I was going to do 3 laps of that, and with the bonus being for the fastest individual lap time. But it appears the actual circuit's not actually set up for a number of laps to be raced on it yet. You can't specify a number of laps. I could have put a time or a distance, I think, but I think we'll save that course for when the update comes, and you're able to count the laps in the race. I just think that gives it a more competitive edge when you're counting down those laps, particularly if you're in a close group and you know exactly the distance and the terrain you've got to deal with for a final lap push or whatever it may be. So I'll revert to the flat reverse Wetopia course for this particular stage of the league. Hey, thank you, Mr. Grenfell, John Grenfell, for the ride on. It's good to see you, buddy. Incidentally, I think I did touch on it yesterday in that really sort of well produced and edited vlog number 110, but the Endura kit order has now closed. I've signed it off, sent it to them for the beginning of production. So their estimated date, I think, was the first week of December, if I remember rightly. So everyone will have it in time for Christmas. I don't want to be presumptuous, but they actually were about a week ahead of schedule with the last kit, so that'd be great if that's the case again. But this is the painful wait now, knowing it's all ordered, all done, and just sit here twiddling my thumbs. It's slightly different for me because I'll get the final proof sent through for approval. Design-wise, it's not a problem at all. That's already been approved. The only thing they've been struggling with is getting the grey stripped and the grey logos matched to the colour I've got both on my screen and in my mind. So I'm waiting for another fabric sample to come through, I think. So fingers crossed they've got that right, and if they have, then full speed ahead. Don't know how I didn't notice, so I got Mr. Visser riding with me as well. Sorry, my friend, I was too busy waffling away and concentrating on John Grasso's orange jersey. But, I didn't spot you riding there as well. So great to see you. Thanks for your company. So this, I think, is about the point where last time I did this ride, I was trying to take some screenshots and inadvertently did a U-turn without realising, and managed to ride almost back to the start of this course in completely the wrong direction, as the group I was supposed to be riding with hurtled down here at 50 kilometers an hour, and yeah, that sort of put paid to most of my group ride. But it was very enjoyable in that I turned back round again, and no sooner had I done that than I got Peter Wilson jumped in, Brian Roden, who else? Apologies if I'm forgetting names. I can't remember who was in which group, up the front or with me, but we all managed to pull back together nicely anyway, and even had a sneaky little sprint session towards the end of the ride. It was really good fun. I will vlog all of these rides until I've completed the 1,111 kilometers, but I'm aware that most of them will be pretty boring, just me riding alone without sort of racing or any real entertainment going on, so they will be quite heavily edited. but some of them will be part of the race, like the Watopia race at the weekend, and I know it's not a race, but the 2 for 1 tomorrow. We do always have a final minute sprint race, which I keep meaning to try and get on film and never set myself up in time, so this gives me a good excuse to record that as well. Got a nice little quartet going here now with Mr. Grasso, R. Olsen, R. Visser, which is more than a quartet, so we've got T. Bjornstadjordet. Wow, if that's pronounced right, that is the best I think I've ever done with that, a name of that length with that many syllables. T. Bjornstadjordet. Cool name, whatever. Thanks for the ride on, Darren. Cheers, my friend. So even my very basic mathematical skills tells me I'm going to need to do 101 kilometres a day on average over the next 11 days. Hey, Velo Viking, thank you for the ride on. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your real name because I've practiced it in the privacy of not having a camera in front of me, and I'm convinced I'm completely wrong. So until I actually hear someone else say your name correctly, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. So thanks for the ride on, Mr. Velo Viking. What was I saying? Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, 101 kilometres on average per day. 9.8 kilometres into the first day. It's going to be easy, isn't it? It's a piece of cake. Obviously, I'm not going to be breaking any power numbers, that's for sure. Power records. Let's give Mr. Bjornstadjordet a ride on. That Trek bike looks good, doesn't it? That green. Yeah, it looks very nice. I keep getting tempted to switch back to the green S-Works tarmac. Obviously it's the one that most closely resembles what I'm riding here, but I just can't bring myself to ditch the orange wheel Tron, as it's fast becoming the unofficial team bike in this colour scheme. I tell you what, they've definitely reduced the amount of dust from last time I rode this quite significantly, and this obviously isn't an organised group ride, so it's not just exclusively for events. It clearly is just based on number of riders, whether it's on a casual ride or part of an event. But they've definitely dampened it down. I don't know if there's been a big rain shower or something that's just patted some of this dust down a little bit. But whatever it was, much better. Get to see the scenery a little bit, albeit slightly pixelated and a little bit jerky on my prehistoric MacBook. So I've done 11 kilometres now. Is that 1%? Of 1,111 or thereabouts. I probably shouldn't count down in percents, because if I'm ticking off 1% for every sort of 10 or 11 kilometres that I do, that's just going to make this drag on even more. So I don't think I'm going to pay too much attention to that anymore. I was saying on one of the threads on the forum, this seems to have divided opinion a little bit, this particular route. I think there's valid arguments on both sides. One being that it's very far removed from obviously any riding that most of us will do, and I do get sort of objection to that, because obviously if you're making a piece of sort of training software that's based around a simulator as well, realism surely is the absolute key to success. However, if Zwift looked anything like a lot of the roads that I have to ride around on a daily basis, sorry, not on a daily basis, but in real life, local to me, I'd probably just do that anyway, instead of jumping on Zwift. And if they were the kind of roads that are replicated on Zwift, it would be a pretty boring, dull experience every time. So my argument was quite simply that, yeah, it is removed from reality, riding through caves and volcanoes and whatnot, but they've actually just created a really nice place to ride, and I'm pretty sure by default I'll be going to this route most of the time now. My favourite route still is, or certainly was, just the original Watopia hilly route, and purely for the
the course itself, the ups and downs I love, but just the scenery and the setting, riding along a beachfront, then off into the hills. It's just really nice, and that's what I think this one gives us. Just a nice jolly place to be. Aha, Mr. Kenneth Scramstad. Hello mate, thank you very much for your ride on. I was tempted to join a workout that looks like quite a few of you are either doing or have done. Kev Stephen alerted me to it earlier. I think it was called the Surges workout, but with a race coming up on Saturday, I don't think that'd be a very good idea. It sounded like it was a case of sort of very full on ease off, but all in quite quick succession. And my speed of recovery in between the full on sections, not that good, so I'm probably best giving that one a miss until we got a bit of a break in the racing season. That's cool. Literally as I'm riding, just got the email from Alan Carr to confirm that our event Watopia is set up for 9 GMT. 3 laps of the Watopia flat course in reverse. Should be fun, if that's the right word. Thank you, Keith Denton. Thank you very much for the ride on. It's good to see you. I'm really hoping that the trainer difficulties you had last week and sort of leading up to last week's race, I'm really hoping they're behind you. I know how frustrating it can be to be hamstrung basically by your equipment in these events, so it'd be great to have you back up at the sharp end of the races, yourself and Catherine. So firstly, hope to see you there, and secondly, best of luck if I do. Mr. Summerson, Mr. Everest, you really need to change your name to HS Everest. Thank you, my friend, for the ride on. So if the Watopia flat course, I think that works out about 3 laps of that's about 30k, something like that. So I'm gonna have to do a slightly bigger warm up than I usually would, and then carry on for a while afterwards to reach the 101 that I'll need for that day. Although it'll probably be more, because obviously I'm not going to be able to do 101k today. I reckon I'll be lucky to hit 30 with the amount of time I've got. Maybe. See how we go. Love this bridge. I didn't get a proper look at it last time, I don't think, because I was too busy trying to chase back onto the group that I'd lost. It just looks fantastic. Brilliant. Hey, hiya Ruth. Miss Ambrose, or Mrs. Ambrose. Thank you very much for the ride on. And Martin Donnellan. Great to see you also, pal. Thank you for the ride on. Hope to see you at the 2 for 1 tomorrow. Look how skinny my avatar looks on there. So they can take your weight into account, but what they can't take into account is your shape. And that, all my weight is in my stomach and my man boobs. And on the game, they've given me no stomach, totally flat chest, and all the weight is obviously in my arms and legs. The exact reverse of my actual physique. So I'm not complaining about it, by the way. It takes years of hard work to get yourself to look like a lollipop, basically. Lots of eating the wrong things. Even when you know you shouldn't, you just force yourself to still eat the wrong things. That's how you get a stomach like this. Am I really going for the 1-1-1-1? Yes, I am. Not today. Yeah, it's really just because I've got a bit of a gap in my normal scheduled work for the next couple of weeks. So now's as good a time as any to do it. As I mentioned, I'd like to have started a lot earlier today, but you know those clients that just make you want to kill yourself. I shouldn't complain, because I've got basically my dream job in that I work from home doing graphic design, which is what I've done and loved for the last 23 years, 24 years, whatever it is. And it would be the dream job if you didn't have to have clients. And this one in particular, it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And even after being entirely happy with something, 24 hours sort of stewing on it just makes them come back and ask for change for change's sake. So just going around in circles. But anyway, like I say, I can't grumble. It gives me plenty of time for running WKG and riding with all you guys and making t-shirts and caps and hoodies and bags and whatnot. So I absolutely can't complain. Apart from today, I was really pissed off. Anyway, so today I reckon, like I say, about 30k I might get in the bag, and that'll leave me with what, 1,081 kilometres to do. Simple. Now that's the coolest thing you can hear when you're on a bike, isn't it? The call for dinner. So, I can see salmon en cru with what looks like new potatoes, mange tout, broccoli. Oh, I'm not going to be having that for a while. That's just cruel. Here we go, over the bridge again. I've not tried this loop at pace, so I have no idea what sort of lap times can be expected. My best is 14:26, but which I think is the one I just did. But obviously we're kind of cruising around. But I'm desperate to use this circuit for racing, so I really do hope they get that update in there quickly. So I think I got my message out too late, but Vissa's got to put his kids to bed, so had to jump off. But if you didn't see my message, thanks very much for joining in, buddy. Really appreciate it. It's always great to have company, and this might only be a short stint tonight, but every little helps, as they say. Aha, he is still there. Thank you, buddy. I'm going to try and pronounce your surname. Is it Rink or Rink? I'm going to say Rink. Rink Vissa. Comments down below if I'm really butchering the pronunciation of that. But Rink Vissa, thanks very much for riding. If during the course of this league it doesn't look like we're going to get the update which will allow us to count laps in a race format on this circuit, one of the rounds is quite well set up as an almost an endurance stage. So I may sort of fiddle around with that a little bit in my mind to see if we can set it as a sort of distance counter over a 2-hour period or a 3-hour period even, whatever it may be, and make one of the stages a proper sort of endurance format. So you certainly don't want to be doing endurance over the mountain, or I certainly don't want to be doing endurance over the mountain. But equally I think I'd struggle if it was just the flat volcano circuit or the flat Watopia circuit. Something like this could be sort of visually stimulating enough to help that time pass by. Certainly had tonight. I mean, we're like 52 minutes into it. Doesn't feel like that long at all. So this could be a good little route for that. Hey, Keith joined in for the fun. Good man. I hope he stays at our pace and doesn't try and drag me around too quickly. And Catherine. Brilliant. Oh, I love it. Nice little impromptu mini group ride. Mr. Lowe. Sean. Hello, buddy. Thanks for the ride on. It's great to see you as always. Thank you for the Halloween post you sent me through Messenger. The less said about that, the better, I would imagine. All my kids are coming down having finished their salmon en cru and potato and the vegetables. Oh, I'm desperate for mine, and I can see it sitting over there on the kitchen surface. I think someone keeps having Wi-Fi problems. I think it was John. He's there now. It might have been Catherine. Yeah, Catherine's disappeared. That's a shame. Hopefully, if it is just a Wi-Fi connection, she can pop back in. Percy Santa Maria, you've got a target on your back as far as I'm concerned for future races, Percy. You were one of my targets in the last race, and I sort of aspire to be there or thereabouts with you, because I think that's the kind of battle area I want to be in. So watch out on Saturday, my friend, if you're there. And thank you very much for the ride on, by the way. I just asked Keith how the turbo trainer was going, and he's just said that's what Catherine's been using, and it's just stopped. So that answers that question, or both questions. Why is Catherine no longer there, and how's the trainer behaving itself? Obviously not good. Right, she's back on. How long will she be able to stay there? Alright, so I've reached 30 kilometres in an hour. So I've got a little bit more time. Maybe rack up another 10 if I can. Hey, Mr. Kane. Thank you, buddy, for the ride on. Yeah, at this pace, I think I might have time for another 10, which will be handy. Means I'll only have to do 161 tomorrow. There were two options for what to do with this ride. Obviously, I was time restricted today. I've obviously gone for 1,111 kilometres in 11 days, but I probably should have just done 1.11 kilometres or something, or do 11 kilometres for 11 days, something like that. Do you know what? Half the reason for doing this is I've been inspired by someone that you guys probably all are well aware of, but I only recently stumbled across the vlog by Francis Cade, and I love his vlogs. I think they're brilliant, and I decided to sort of go back and start watching them from earlier on, and managed to follow Chris Hall, who for charity was riding 107 kilometres every day for 107 days. So obviously this isn't quite in that league, but I was really in full admiration of his dedication and his genuine belief and passion for the cause that he was riding for. And the final stages of that, where he'd sort of completed the 107th day, was really emotional, not just for him riding, but it was actually a really emotional thing to watch. And like I say, I'm by no means comparing this at all, but I'd really like to set myself some kind of challenge where I can just feel really sort of proud at the end of it that I've achieved something that on paper I shouldn't really be able to do, or this time 2 years ago I wouldn't have even considered doing. Thank you, Dwight, by the way, for the ride on. I just saw that. Thank you, buddy. So I'm not trying to big up what this challenge is, but for me, this will be sort of well beyond anything I've put my legs and my backside through ever, I think. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Let's search. I'm pretty sure Chris Hall's probably got his own channel as well, but if you search up Francis Cade, his cycling vlog, it's really good. I mean, maybe more so for me because they're very familiar roads that they're riding on, and they're always in Rafa in London and Spitalfields and Sigma Sport in Kingston, riding through Richmond Park, so it's all areas that are recognisable, and I just enjoy watching it. It's just done in a very nice way. But like I say, in particular, the Chris Hall 107 for 107 days was really impressive. And Keith's the one that's dropped off the back a little bit now. I wonder if he's just swapped trainers with Catherine very quickly. He tried to palm off the faulty trainer on his wife. She was having none of it, and now Keith's on it. No, I'm sure that's not what's happened. Here we go, rope bridge, one more time. Probably the last time for me tonight. Alright, so a bigger, faster crowd just came past us, and it is definitely reduced, but I think there's still probably a little bit too much dust, if I'm honest. In a race situation, that's going to be really tricky if you're trying to hold someone's wheel. It's not a problem on the Watopia bit down near the harbour because it's such a short stretch. Obviously, this goes on for quite a long time. And to keep an eye on the riders you're trying to hold on to in amongst that cloud of smoke, that's not going to be great. Is there the sloth? Hey, there he is. Oh, good. I was hoping I'd see him tonight. What's the other thing? Apparently there's a tiger. Is it a tiger or gorilla? Tiger, I think. Whatever it was. Yeah, it was a tiger. And Steve Wong, you should hang your head in shame, my friend, that you thought that sloth hanging from the rope back there was the tiger. Words fail me. Right on, Kim. What's the day? Wednesday. So what race is that? I've just had Brett Boniface and Kim Little just gone flying past me. Would that be an SCR race? I can't remember what happens on a Wednesday evening this sort of time. Yeah, I think it's SCR race. Alright, what I think I'll do is I'll stop at 42. Okay, so John Grasso's run out of time. He's had to jump off. Thanks very much, John. You were there almost right from the very beginning, turn me around. Really appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. So, got Keith and Catherine still with me. Keith definitely has been having training trouble because he's back down on 0.7 kilometres, so we obviously had to jump out, log back in again. Yeah, what I was going to say was, I think I'll go to 41. No, 42. And then I only have to do 160k tomorrow to be on target for the 202 in 2 days. So, and about 40 of those will be done in the 2-for-1 ride in the morning. And then I can jump on again after I've done a bit of work and household duties, and do the other 120k later on. Starting to sound actually more crazy if I break it down like that, so I'm not going to. Thank you, Keith, for the reminder about apple cider vinegar. That's something else I'm going to have to try and do tomorrow. Get myself a barrel load. I ran out some time ago and actually didn't think too much about it until we did that race on Saturday. And that's the first time I've had cramp in a long time, because it's the first time I've sort of really pushed myself at pace for a long time since running out of the vinegar. So maybe psychological, but it certainly seems to do something for me. Oh, the other thing worth mentioning is these videos will probably be really badly edited, because I'm just going to be knocking them out sort of every day, hopefully. So it will just be a case of chopping them up into digestible chunks and uploading them. So forgive me if there's repetition in the music or bad cuts or I miss anyone important out, but I'll do my best to capture all the interesting bits. Alright, so I've nearly hit my target for this evening, 41 kilometres. Just going to whack the old aero out, have a bit of a spin for this last 500 metres. Keith and Catherine have managed to pull 3 seconds ahead of me. Well, I hope I'm not inadvertently interfering with a race here. I think I might be. Oh, that was daft. I've turned off that route. I did that just because I wanted to carry on downhill for this last blast. I turned off that route and obviously messaged Keith and Catherine to say thank you. And because of the course split, I don't think they'd have got that message. But Keith and Catherine, if you watch this, thank you very much for your company and for your draft for a while. Very helpful. So 41.2 done for me. I have to keep a note of these. Obviously I can just add up my Strava. Cheers Jason, our blaster. Thank you very much for the ride on, my friend. I know you were hoping to jump in at some point, but I was riding a bit too early for you. I wish I could stay on later, but I've probably gone slightly over my my time allowance anyway, so apologies for that, but that's a little chunk of it done anyway. Thank you Linda Kellen for the ride on. Right, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Not much else to talk about. Like I say, these are just, I'm just going to vlog them purely for the point of documenting it, to be honest. So I'll be back on tomorrow, 2 for 1. Hopefully I'll see some of you then.